Hi everyone, this lesson will be looking at simple interest. So our goal today is to identify and solve simple interest problems. Interest is the amount collected or paid for any use of money. And simple interest, money paid on principal amount. So our formulas, simple interest, so this is just solving for the interest. I equals P times R times T. What do these letters all mean? So I is total interest. P is our principal. So the amount of money borrowed or deposited. We have R, which is our rate. So it is the interest rate. Per year. We want it as a decimal, but it's always given to us in a percentage. And lastly, T is time. So how long are we investing for? Time in years. That money earns interest. So that is to calculate interest. Now for a final amount, which would be principal plus interest, which we always want to know how much we make in total or at the end of our investment. So this A is our final amount. P is our principal. So what we start with, and I is total interest. So let's look at example 1. Carter deposits $200 in an account at his bank. The interest rate is 6%. How much interest will he earn in 3 years? How much will be in his bank account? So first, let's identify what we're being asked to solve for. So if we look for our question, how much interest will he earn in 3 years? Therefore, I is in question. Therefore, if we use our simple interest formula, we also need to know the variables P, R, and T, which we should all get from our question. So we know our principal amount. Carter deposits $200. So he starts with 200. The interest rate is 6%. So 6%, remember, we have to write it in its decimal form. So we divide by 100. So in our equation, we'll be using the decimal. And for how long is he investing for? 3 years. So if we write our equation and substitute our values, so 200 times 0.06 times 3. You can type it in all in our calculator. Therefore, $36 will be our interest after 3 years. So sorry about that. Therefore, interest earned after 3 years is $36. So we have another question. How much will be in his bank account? So that will be using our final amount formula. That is in question. We need our principal and we need our interest. So principal we know is 200. Interest we calculated, which we know is 36. Therefore, amount equals principal plus interest. Therefore, at the end of 3 years, Carter will have Carter will have in his bank account $236. Let's turn the page over. Let's look at example 2. So Carter borrowed $900 to fix his car. The bank charges 7% interest. Find the total amount Carter will owe the bank if he pays everything back in 5 years. So what are we being asked to solve for? Find the total amount he will owe the bank if he pays everything back in 5 years. Therefore, our total amount is in question. Therefore, if we use our amount formula, we have P and I. So principal, knowing is 900, and I is our interest. Remember, interest is a formula all on its own. I equals principal plus times rate times T. So interest isn't 7%. We need to calculate it in this formula. So knowing our interest and how to calculate it, we can set P to 900. Rate 7%. So if we divide that by 100, that is 0.07. And our time is 5 years. So if we calculated that on our calculator, so 900 times 0.07 times 5 is 315. So that is our total interest. So we can write that above and now calculate our final amount owing. So 900 plus 350 is $1,250. So therefore, Carter will owe $1,250. I'll have you try to calculate 3 and I'll provide you the answers below.